question for you. Is your website actually doing anything for your business? Is it regularly bringing in new traffic, leads, and paying clients? It can and should be. And if it's currently not doing that, it's time for a little website makeover. In this episode, we're going to go over the key signs it's time for you to refresh your website and how just a few simple changes can mean big leaps for your business. Don't have a website yet? Cool. Use this episode to learn how to do it right from the start. Let's dive in. Hey there, I'm Shawn Mynar, and this is Unstuck Entrepreneur. I'm a former nutritionist who turned a struggling, stressful nutrition practice into a thriving, freedom-filled online business where I work from home in my sweatpants while reaching and helping thousands of people all at the same time. Now I'm obsessed with showing other heart-centered coaches, practitioners, and solopreneurs how to build a business and life they love. Consider this podcast your safe space to learn both the inner work and practical strategies required to build the impactful, profitable business of your dreams. No hustle, grind, or long hours required. That's right, hustle culture, not welcome here. Let's get into today's session. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to the Unstuck Entrepreneur podcast. I'm Shawn, your host on each and every episode. And as always, super grateful to every single one of you for checking out the show and this episode in particular, which is all about your website. And this also is kicking off a new series all about websites. It's the Websites That Work series here on the show. I'm going to be spending the next 4 to 5 episodes talking to you all about how to turn your website into your 24/7 online salesperson, your hardest working team member, and that comfy, cozy, inclusive, inviting space for your people on the internet. It should be all of those things. And from my research, from what I know to be true about the coaching space, the wellness space, the solopreneur space, especially in the service-based business model, there are websites out there that just aren't pulling their weight. They're just not doing the job. And so we're going to take the next 4 to 5 episodes to make sure we change that for you and your business. And that starts today with 5 signs it's time to refresh your website. Does your website need a little makeover? Yeah, most likely it does. And like I mentioned, if you don't have a website yet, let me tell you, save yourself a ton of time and headache and do this website thing right from the start. Now you will have these tools, this education, this training to know what that means. And if there's anyone out there listening who's like, yeah, my website needs a refresh, we can all agree that it's just easier. It would have been easier just to do it right from the start and not have to go through that whole refresh makeover process. So getting back to why I have taken it upon myself to talk about your website. Well, first things first, I have had my own website for over 10 years now. It has gone through many iterations, like super embarrassing. I can't even go back even 7-8 years ago. I cannot go back because it's so embarrassing. But in that time, I really had to learn how to make my website work better for my business out of necessity as my business was growing and as more people were asking for my website or heading to my website or Googling me or Googling my work, Googling my programs. You just can't send them to a crappy website. You just can't, because they are still in that space where they want to get to know more about you and what you do and why you do it. And most importantly, if it's right for them. And if they don't get that answer right away, they're gone. And that is just such a missed opportunity. So that is the first thing, and just what I have been through in my own journey through my own website transformation over the years, and how important I have learned it is for your business. And like I've said many times before, it's not something that you need in order to kick off your business from the get-go. You don't need a website to start building your email list and even start getting paying clients. You can network, you can use landing pages, you can do those things to start making money right away. But then quickly after that, yes, you are going to need a website. And especially if you are expecting and planning for your business to grow, and you're expecting and planning for people to want to learn more about you and maybe go from being a social media follower to checking out your website to learn more about what it is you do. You need to have that place, like I said, that cozy, comfy, inclusive, inviting space for people to go. That's the bottom line. And as you all, I think, know, my ultimate mission, if I am just drilling things down as deep as they can possibly go for my mission with my business and with my time spent here, it is to help you help more people while also helping yourself, whatever that looks like for you. But a lot of times that looks like having more time, having more space, having more freedom, having more money, these things that will help you while also helping others. And, there's a lot of help in there, but that's really what it dials down to for me, is helping you help more people. And the reality is, yes, you need a great offer. And we talk about that a lot here, how to have that really attractive paid offer for these people that are in your orbit. But the reality is, you need a good website also. That is just as important. You need a way to get these people even interested in learning more about your paid offers. And a lot of times our website is one of the most important ways to do that. Yes, there's social media. Yes, there's your email marketing. These are all tools that go together in your overall marketing strategy, but you need that home. You need that place that is a good representation of you, that is well organized and showcases your work as it relates to your people and flows well, and is this really comfortable space for people to want to spend time getting to know you better, getting to know your work better. If any of those things don't happen, they're out, because there's other people to go check out who potentially are doing something similar. So we want to keep that from happening, obviously. And so that's really where I'm at with this desire to help you with your website. Between that and then spending the past 6 months learning more and more and going deeper and deeper into copy, and particularly website copy being one of the kind of pillars I've been really researching and practicing and learning and even getting certified in website copy in particular, it is because a lot of people think the design is the most important thing of their website. And yes, it typically is that initial attraction that will even get people to read one word. Yes, they need to have a good vibe when they initially look at it for the first 0.5 seconds. But then it's the words that keep them there. It's the words that keep them staying on the page, clicking over into other pages and learning more and more and going deeper and deeper, and then ultimately getting into your world, becoming a lead, getting on your email list, becoming a podcast listener, becoming a blog reader, becoming a paying client. It's the words on your site that do that. And one last thing to bring up is that yes, I think we've already talked about this being a super important tool for your business. It has the ability to do a lot for your business. But one really important thing, because I want you to be able to take care of yourself too, while also having this amazing, growing, fabulous business, is that your website can and will be a pretty hands-off tool for you. I'm all about simplifying. I'm all about making it as easy as possible. I'm all about getting things automated and working for you 24/7 behind the scenes while you go live your life and take care of yourself and take care of your family and friends. And your website, if it's working, is one of the best tools that will do that for you. That's why I say it's your 24/7 online salesperson. That's what it should be doing for you. And I think we're all really into having more things be hands off in our lives, but especially in our businesses, so that we can go out and live our lives and still be attracting leads and creating clients and customers out of those leads. So now, yes, this all sounds pretty amazing, right? And yet what I am seeing is that there's not a lot of this happening, in particular in the coaching space, the wellness practitioner space. There's a bit of a breakdown between having a website that works and just having a website that, what I assume, because I did this too, was this like, let me just get something up and then I'll revisit it later. I'll get back to it. I'll learn more later and really make this website do more. But then that later never really comes. And hey, I am all for that imperfect action. That is amazing. You got your website up. It's in the pushing the website to the back burner and just kind of letting it sit there for months and years collecting dust without making those improvements, without revisiting, without learning more about how to make your website a little better. That is what we need to address here, because those improvements could mean a major difference in your business, major difference in the amount of clients you have coming at you, how your email list is growing, how your podcast is growing. Your website is part of that strategy, or should be part of that strategy, and getting those built up. And then I also see a lot of this perfectionism showing up in the website building category, which is just trying to figure out what to say, what to do, where to design what, and put everything, and spending so much time on your website and never hitting publish because it's not perfect. And of course, that's a never-ending cycle that will never change, because first of all, perfection doesn't exist. And second of all, you don't know how to make it better. You don't know the answers to the questions you're trying to figure out, right? And so once again, there's that major missed opportunity for creating this ease in your business and this flow in your business and getting fresh new eyes on your work. And then the last website category I see is these people who spend thousands of dollars to hire someone to design and write their website for them, which seems like a good idea because I've just said how important it is and can be for your business, and that you should take it seriously. So it's like, okay, cool. Then let me get this awesome website that works and let me start getting paying clients, and I'll quickly make the thousands of dollars I just spent back because my website is drawing in new leads. But the problem with that is that when it comes time to potentially change something on your website or add a new page, or your messaging needs to be tweaked a little bit, maybe you've pivoted a little or gotten more specific or something like that, then you don't know how to do that. So you have to hire someone every time you need to make a change or a tweak to your website. And not only that, but even more importantly, you still haven't really learned how to communicate in your business. Part of the website writing process, or really any process you go through to write copy for your website, you're learning how to communicate with your people. And that transforms everything in your business. If you know how to write your website, you know how to write a sales page, you know how to write an email, you know how to write a social media caption because you've learned the messaging, you've got the messaging down pat, and then you're plugging that messaging into pretty much anything and it sounds really good and attracts the right people. So it's part of this learning process in your business that you have to do. So you might as well do it while you're creating this amazing website for yourself. Okay, so that took a really long time to explain the whole why behind this series, but I thought it was important so that you hopefully now have the intention and the motivation and the energy behind figuring out how to make your website work for you and your business. And this is your website wake-up call. So let's do it. This is your sign to invest a little more time and energy into your cozy home on the internet, knowing you'll reap the benefits for years to come. And it will be another hands-off piece to your business success. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do in this series is a little checklist to see if your website is ready for a refresh, if it needs a little makeover. Now, like I mentioned one last time, because I know there are people listening who don't have a website yet, if that is you, then this is still a very important episode because you can get it right the first time. You can avoid some pretty big mistakes that, to be honest, most coaches, practitioners, service-based businesses are making right now. So tune in, stay focused, write this down, and get to work on your first website. And then, yes, of course, if you already have one, we're going to make some improvements. But let's start with a little objective assessment. Let's see how your website is currently doing. Now, first things first, get clear on one thing. If your website was working for your business, what would that look like for you? And everyone's answer is going to be different. This is for you to figure out your barometer for success when it comes to your website. How would you know that your website was working? Would you get more inquiries about client work? Would you have more readers on your blog? Would you get more people into your evergreen program? How would you know that your website was working? Or would it just be that you see your number of visitors increase, which could be a great sign too. Figure that out for yourself. All right, here is the checklist. The first way to know if it's time for a little website refresh is if you're not getting as many visitors as you'd like. Now, again, that number, that barometer is going to be totally different for everyone, but pretty obvious sign no matter what. I'd say if you're not getting any visitors, if you're getting very few visitors to your website, then that's a sign that there's more that you can do to get in front of new, fresh eyes, to get on the Google page for something that your dream client is searching for, and to get people that are already in your audience, potentially as Instagram followers or email subscribers or, podcast listeners, to get them intrigued enough to head over to your website and learn more about you and your services. Or to get people from Pinterest over onto a blog post, or from Google over to a blog post or a podcast episode that you turned into a blog post, like we talked about a few weeks ago. Getting those eyes too, getting that intrigue, that interest from a search engine over to your website. That is a very powerful tool for your business and can and should be happening because of your website copy. So if that is not, then that typically means you're probably not getting as many visitors as you like. And it means your copy needs a refresh, because a well-written site means that it is SEO optimized and much more likely to show up on that Google search and also keep people coming back, which is also a sign of a good website and will increase your visitors. number of visitors. One thing I found out in the beta group for Web Copy in a Week is that a lot of people don't know their website stats. It is important to know that. It's important to keep an eye on that and to check back and see how you're doing, especially as you do this website refresh. See how it improves as you improve your site. I always recommend, even if you are working with a website platform that tracks your data, your analytics, I would still also use Google Analytics. You can go to Google and Google how to set up Google Analytics, and it will tell you how to do that for your website. And you can go down a rabbit hole. There is so much information. You don't need to know everything that it shows you to be in the know on your website, but you can at minimum see how many visitors you're getting per day, where they're coming from, how long they stay on your website, what pages they go to, like what are the most common or most popular pages on your website. You can get some really cool information from Google Analytics. So I would recommend setting that up for your website, no question. All right, so if you're not happy with the number of visitors that you are getting on your website, then a refresh will change that for you. Number 2, the visitors that you do get aren't taking action. So if you are getting a bit of traffic, maybe from a blog post or from people clicking your social media link or from your podcast, something like that, but they're not doing anything else while they're there, then that's a website copy problem. So we don't just want visitors, although that's amazing and a good start, but you want those visitors to then become leads, become contacts, book discovery calls, inquire, send a contact form, obviously sign up for a bunch of freebies. That would be kind of what I would think or consider as a lead. So that's what I mean when I say lead, is that they signed up for your email list. That then becomes a lead. To even at minimum read a few blog posts. So they're at least getting deeper into your work or reading your about page or heading to your services page, that kind of thing. So we want the visitors that come to stay for a little bit and check things out and take action, whatever the right action is for them based on where they're at when they visit. And that's really, we're going to talk about this in this series. That's really what matters, is that your visitors, all of your visitors, no matter what stage of problem to solution they are in, feel like they're in the right place and have a next step to go to. And that's much easier to do than it sounds like. And I will show you how to do that in a special workshop coming up that I'll mention at the end of this. But a key sign of your website working is that your visitors do take that action. They do take an action. Otherwise, it's just a sign that, while it may be showing up on Google or there may be people hopping over from social media, your website isn't necessarily intriguing enough or inviting enough or even just organized enough for people to continue on. So that is a big sign. All right, the third one is that it's not a true reflection of you and your work. This one is going to hit a little bit hard for those of you who went the route of just getting something up, which, like I said, I commend you for doing that. I love that you took imperfect action. That is great. But then never went back to update it or refresh it since. And so now it's just collecting dust and not a true reflection of you and your work. Remember, your website is your business's home. It's the face of your business. It's often where people get their very first impression of you. And is your website really living up to that job? Is it really showing how important the work you do is, how valuable it is? Is it making someone feel comfortable and welcome and invited? Is it showing your personality? Is it connecting with those specific people that you want to help and making them feel like they've found someone who really truly gets them? Copy that is cookie cutter or basic or boring, that is not a true reflection of you and your work, because you're not cookie cutter or basic or boring. The work you do isn't any of those things. So why would your website be? That is not a good representation of you and your work. And if you're feeling this, because we're having this objective, just kind of checklist, we're keeping our emotions out of it for now. If that is your website, then it needs a refresh, and it will make a huge difference for your business. Number 4, if your website is more focused on you than on your visitor, again, let's keep it objective. Yes, it is your website and your business and your service, but your website is not about you at all. 95% of your website is about your visitor. There are a few spots on your website where you will talk about yourself. There's one small intro section on your homepage, and about a third of your about page is about you. And even in those sections, it is only about you as it relates to your dream client. And then all the other sections of your entire website are about them. It's connecting with your visitor in a real, deep, authentic way by talking about them, by connecting with them, by communicating with them, by sharing with them, and really helping them see that you get them. Like I just mentioned, that's what we're really after on your website, and constantly talking about yourself, even if it seems like that's what you're supposed to do, or you want to really convey that you're an expert, that you get it, that you've been there, you've been through it, that you're certified in this and your education is this. Now, there is a spot for all that. So it's not like you're not going to say any of that at all, but it is a very small piece of your website, because if people don't know that you can help them, if they don't feel that connection, if you haven't properly communicated that first, then they don't really care about you or what you've been through, your history, your past, your certifications, your education. That can only come and will only be effective once they already feel like they are in the right place. So it has to be at the exact right time. A good way to know if you're talking about yourself too much on your website and really in anything that you write is to just look at the amount of times that you say I and my and me in any of your copy. And if it seems like it might be a little much, or really just anytime you see an I or me or my and you think or you can find a way to take it out and turn it around so it's actually talking to and about and for your dream clients, then do it. See how many I's and me's and my's you can take out and turn it around. All right, let's move on to the 5th one, the final checklist item to know if you need a website refresh, and that is if it's disorganized. There is actually a very specific flow for your website that, when followed, will keep it organized for you and also for your visitors. Because if you are introducing things too soon, again, before your visitors have really bought in, before they've really gotten to see that they're in the right place, and before they've built up any of that you get me factor, if you introduce things too soon, then it feels off for your visitor and it does feel disorganized in their mind. And that is, again, something that can very easily mean they just find the nearest X button and click off and never revisit your site again. So you do need to make sure that it flows. And like I said, yes, there is a specific framework that you need to follow that I have created. It's my signature framework, actually specifically for coaching and wellness practitioner businesses. That is different than any other business. So we've got to treat it differently. And especially our visitors are different too, because they have different problems and desires and needs. So I created this framework that will make it so your visitor feels like it is organized specifically for their personality type and their level of awareness in the problem that they have, the solutions that are out there, you and your solutions. There's so many different possibilities of visitors that could come to your website, and they all need to be taken care of. They all need to feel a certain way and know that it's organized. And so it sounds complicated, I know, but I took that complicated mess and did it for you. I figured out the right equation for you and put it into my Write Your Website workbook, which I will share more about in just a second. But right now, I just want you to take a peek at your website if you have one and scroll through and see if it feels organized to you. Kind of look at it from this objective lens and see, is it organized in terms of when you're talking about a freebie, if you have one, when you're talking about a podcast, if you have one, when you're talking about your paid services, if you have them, where everything is placed and if it really flows. That is your first step. And if you feel like it flows well, cool, great, don't change it. But if you feel like there could be some improvement, then that is your sign for a little website refresh. Okay? So now it's time to tally up things and see how you did. If your current website is doing all the things, then cool, great. Like I said, don't touch it. You are good to go. But if any of these signs I shared with you just now feel a little off for you and your website, then first of all, welcome to being a normal business owner who needs to refresh things from time to time as they learn and grow. That is what we do. That's exactly what you should be doing, is changing things, evolving things as you learn and grow and change and evolve. That's the point. And I would recommend starting to toy with that idea now. See when you can schedule in some time to work on your website in the next few weeks or a few months. See if you can put that in your calendar to just see what happens when you have dedicated time to improve your home, your cozy space on the internet. And if you don't have a website yet, then I really hope this lit a fire under you to get that website up and running and get it done right the first time around. So hopefully you've gotten some ideas of what not to do or what to look for to know when things are working and when things aren't. And as we continue going through this series, then you'll get more and more ideas of how to improve and or how to build your website right the first time. And of course, I would love to help you write your site and cut the time it takes for you to refresh and or launch your site way down. We're talking hours of time instead of months of time to make it happen. I will show you how to do that. And right now I'm hosting a free masterclass that will get you started, that will get you on your way to updating your website copy or writing your website for the first time from a place where it actually is working for your business instead of just collecting dust, never seeing the light of day. So we will change all of that. I want your website, and hope you want your website to bring fresh, new eyes onto your site and turn them into email subscribers, social media followers, podcast listeners, blog readers, and most importantly, paying clients and customers. That is when you know you have a website that works. And that is what I'm going to show you how to do in a free masterclass I have going on right now over at shawnmynar.com/webclass. That is where you can choose your time to take part in the masterclass or watch it on demand. I want you to do it when it works best for you, and also when you have some dedicated, intentional time to really learn and absorb and take these things and apply them into your business, because we are going to go through that strategy, that plan, that path that will make this happen for your website, that will instantly upgrade your website. It is actually a quite simple strategy that is the difference between someone continuing to stay on your site and get involved in your work and get to know more about you and inquire about working together, and someone who quickly finds the nearest X out button and never returns, which we do not want, those missed opportunities. Okay, so super excited to have you at this masterclass, shawnmynar.com/webclass, to sign up and find a time that works for you. Or like I said, you can watch it on demand too, and get started on this. No time to waste. Let's not do that again. Let's build out a website that actually does something for your business and is a hands-off marketing strategy for you. And it all comes back to having a well-written, compelling site, and that includes copy. And I will show you, even if you hate writing and you're not a good writer and all these things you're telling yourself, I will show you how to make that happen. Okay, hope to see you there, shawnmynar.com/webclass. And remember, next week we have yet another episode all about your website. So until next time, take care.